Hey, I'm Don Carr, and today I'm here with Carl Verheyen. Hey, Carl.
Hey, Don. How are you, man?
Good, man. Good to have you here.
Good to be back.
Yes, indeed.
It's been a while.
Yeah. So. Great to have you, man. And today we're talking about your Kemper profile pack, the Carl Verheyen Vintage Amp Collection from Echo XS, right?
That's right, yeah. What we did is we went into the studio, my producer buddy of mine named Mark Hornsby. We went into the studio and he said, Verheyen, you have like 50 guitar amps at your house. Why don't we pick the very best ones? Why don't we pick your favorites, the ones that have made you a living all these years, and profile them? And I go, no, man, I am dark on that whole scene. I don't want to know about modeling, profiling, nothing. I like warm tubes heating up right here, and that's what I'm into, you know. And then we did it. We went down to Studio 2 at Sunset Sound, a place I've worked at hundreds of times. We took a bunch of my amps down there and started day one of profiling. In other words, he talked me to the dark side. Talked me into it. We got into day one, and then we brought the Kemper back to my house and ran it through my Pro Tools studio. And I went, oh boy, this is too good. I'm going to have it. Now, the home studio scene for me, Carl Verheyen, has never been an important thing. I've always gone to studios. I've always hired engineers.
Sure.
But when the whole pandemic scene came up and 43 of my concerts got canceled in the last quarter, you know, 2 tours and all these festivals and stuff, I said, man, maybe the home studio is not such a bad plan. So I went ahead and bought one. I bought a rack mount version just like this and put it in there with, you know, hooked it up with my Pro Tools rig.
Right.
This that I'm going to play right now, this is a Fender Princeton. The other thing we did when we got into working on these profiles is we took each amp and we said, what are the most important microphones? You know, what do you use? Well, everybody uses a 57. Lately, I've been a real big fan of the Telefunken M80.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then the Royer 121 for that warmer sound. The AKG 414 is funny. It's a sound. The 414 was always my least favorite mic, but that's what you're hearing right now on this Princeton. It's got a clarity to it that I really like.
Yeah, it's got a nice bigness too.
Yeah.
Man. It really does. The bottom is great on it.
And then we put a Neumann 67 on there too. So these 5 mics give me an opportunity, and to tell you the truth, I didn't know that much about microphones until now. But now I can I'm working on a track at home, and people are sending me tracks from all over the world, and I go, well, let's try a Fender Deluxe, or let's try a Marshall. No, that mic isn't cutting it. Click, here's a different one, here's a different one. So that's what I've been doing. I've been learning about the qualities of microphones.
You've been hearing these amps in studios, in your headphones, in situations, on recordings for a long time. This is your personal collection.
Right.
So you know what they're supposed to sound like.
Yeah, so it's great because I can go to stuff. Like for instance, I have 2 Vox AC4s. But it's a great sounding amp, and I'm even using that, the AC4. I've got 2 of them. I use those on my new record coming out. Oh, nice. And I did it because I wanted a little tiny, clean kind of funk sound. Yeah. Just a little bit of breakup, you know, and it's perfect with the Telecaster.
Exactly, and it's contained. You know, that's the nice thing about a small amp. Is a lot of times the sound is really contained, and so it's very specific. You can't really replicate that with anything else.
Yeah. So now that I know what that sounds like, that little amp combo, I pull it up in here all the time. I go, hey, I'm gonna get the Vox AC4, or a really ridiculously small Dane Electro amp. I mean, you know, that's something you would never play live. You would never even bring to the studio. But we profiled it, and it's really a cool sounding amp. It just does its own little thing.
Yeah, and it's nice to have it in the archive, right? So you can just dial it in whenever you want.
Yeah, exactly. All right, now, you want to hear something different?
Sure, let's do it.
Don't tell me what to do. I'm going to dial up a JMP 50. This is a Plexi Marshall from 1968. Here it is with a Telefunken M80 mic. And the cool thing about it, I think it's an important sound for guitar players to get what I call semi-crunch. You know, when you have a G chord, and it's in tune, And you can still hear the B natural. You can still hear the third. You know, in other words, it's not too grungy that you can't.
Yeah, man.
So you hear that tone, that's
Right.
a really nice tone. Now, because I'm playing all by myself, I got to have a little reverb and delay on it. It's just too dry if I don't. But if I were putting that song in a track, I would turn down the reverb and delay. And like I said, I'm new to this Kemper deal. It's a whole new world for me. But one of the hippest things they did is they made a mix knob for the reverb and
Yeah.
a feedback knob for the delay
Right.
out in front. So you don't have to go into the parameters. You
Right,
can
no
just,
menu diving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can turn it down to probably a much more of a sound appropriate for, or effects appropriate for that sound. I grabbed a Les Paul here
Yeah.
just to show you like a higher gain amp. And one of my favorite guitar amps, especially for live, is the Dr. Z. It's called an SRZ 65. One of the things I like to do on a Les Paul is put this in the middle.
Yeah. And
And
blend
then
them.
blend them, bring the bass back. That's a little bit better sound. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that's a Dr. Z head played with what microphone?
What mic
It's
is
just
that?
a 57.
Oh, cool. Man, that's
Straight
nice
ahead
and throaty
57.
sounding,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Really nice.
And for this in the studio, I used to have to take a amp, put it around the corner in the studio bathroom, run a cable to it, run a microphone, check it out, but I could still hear it through the wall. Or if I wanted some real big live loud sound, mic a 4x12 out in the garage with hooked together 4 microphone cables. Because my home studio scene is basically just my music room, right? It's not a real studio.
Right.
But it sounds good in there, and with
Yeah.
this, I can really tell what's going on. So
Yeah, exactly. Because with that situation, again, you'd probably have to cut it, and then you'd listen to the track back and go, you know what? I think the mic's not in the right place. Let's recut that.
Yeah, you got to go back out there and
Yeah.
do all that again. Where we spent a lot of time getting the mic to sound really good.
Exactly. And you guys did a great job of this, man.
Thank you.
Really sounds great. Really
Oh,
sounds
thanks
great.
so much.
Thanks so much for being here, Carl. Really
Appreciate
you,
it,
man.
Don. Always
All
a
right.
pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions about the Carl Verheyen Kemper Profile Collection, please make sure to contact your Sweetwater sales engineer, or you can check us out online at sweetwater.com. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click here for more videos like this, or start at sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs.